Really smart from Onic. That's really, really smart because yes, we're seeing Keyd. They've got initiation, enabling tools for this Phoveus, who's going to be a majority of their damage dealers later on to the game because Klink can only shoot one person at a time, but that demonic force is literally forever. Works off of the KO punch, works off of the I'm offended as well. A lot of ways to start things off, but it is shut down by the deadly catch if the initiation works.
Yeah, and something tells me the fact that you had to name a grocery list of things that has to happen for the Phoveus to actually pay off means it's just so much more difficult for Keyd to execute. There's so much that they need to do to make Onic Esports just hurt. It's not even a sure kill because again, there's a Florin on Kiboy here.
Yeah, it is, but again, it's really like trying to figure out, is the healing going to be enough? Whose healing is better? Is Florin going to be a little bit more effective in the later stages of the game with that extra item, or is S's raw power of healing going to be more than enough? It's time to get right in towards this game. It is going to be Keyd up against Onic Esports. Only one of these teams will be getting a point at the end of this day. Is it going to be an upper bracket run? Only one way to find out.
One thing that is for sure is that this Florin will be perfect for the composition of Onic, as its healing abilities will not be stopped by any anti-heal, which is great because you can now give it to either CW or Sidrian. But interestingly, this will Onic Esports gonna get some. They're getting a little bit of a little bit of a page from their brother's notebook as they do port out. Deploy this Golden Lilia.
Yeah, I think this is really smart here, but Sans was able to get the Litho Wanderer for himself. A little sad for King because he would have liked the extra EXP, but overall, I think it's a smart play that they throw Drian in towards the mid lane, they put Beatrix in towards the mid lane and send Lilia up top because at least there's consistent wave clear with the Beatrix.
Yeah. What really happens now is that your Clint, which normally has got the advantage when it comes to a marksman versus marksman matchup in the gold lane, will not have that because CW, it's always a threat. That's the thing with Lilia, right? You don't really need a level 4 to be a kill threat in the lane. Just having two skills, you belt the unlimited amount of damage and poke in the early stages.
Yep, and looking at Onic Esports, the threat that they're putting in mid, it's so sustainable. Not talking about life, I'm just talking about the amount of damage that they have. And look at this, they open up the jungle.
Yep, Mikey now in some trouble. He's trying to get on it, but Dream flickers right on top of him. Prime can only do so much with the well. That's going to be the first blood by Razor.
And exactly how this happened is because Keyd, the kind of jungle, the kind of mid that they have, is so soft. There's no threat here between the Ruby and the Estes early on, but what they do have is burst.
Yep, yes they do. They've already taken out Keyboy so quickly on, and that's the thing. Florin, she doesn't have a lot of HP and cannot give a lot of pressure, and she scales so much better for the late game. But now, Prime, now it's a little bit of trouble as Drian dashes forward, and Takashi gets him with the Divine Force, finds the Astra's Eye, locks him down, and gets the initial kill as well. They have full control over the turtle.
The trade-off now for Onic Esports is a death on Drian for the purple buff that they were able to steal away from this Paquito. And interestingly, Keyd, you're gonna give up the turtle control that I thought that they will be that they will be finishing. Unfortunately, it wasn't the case in Onic Esports. Even after the death of Drian, they are gonna be happy about this trade, specifically because they have a buff advantage over this in this Bane versus Paquito jungling matchup, and they now have recovered their control of the turtle area.
I think this is great. Keyd is playing a really smart game by saying, hey, we know you want to get this turtle, but more importantly, we want you to kind of group around it, right?
Exactly.
We want a place where we can engage on you and play for our goal play. But now here comes King and Takashi holding back. They see what's going on. Estes is there, but wait, but Boots has already found an initial catch. No, he doesn't catch him with his ultimate just yet. King and Takashi walk away. Turtle slain by Onic Esports this time round. We've only got STB to thank for.
Despite all of the rotations that Keyd had, again, also as surprised as Wolf that they did not take the turtle priority, Onic Esports just bounced back. Again, they gave that free kill onto Drian, but just the same, they got back into a position prime for them to take down and pressure Luis here. No pun intended. Prime is all the way back in mid. It's very difficult for Luis to get away with this.
Onic continuing to pressure this top side. They're going to get the entire... Ooh, no, wait, hold on. King going right on towards Keyboy here to look to punish. The KO punch doesn't connect. Quick flicker makes quick work, but Mikey, he needs to quickly get on out of there. No, he wasn't able to pull off the I'm offended in time. They get punished here as the Shadow Dances is coming on strong. They find another one. Sands almost actually getting towards that back line. Doesn't... Ooh, drops down the ult as well. Maximizing and forcing Keyd all the way back, stopping the recalls as well.
It's the outer turret energy shield or the expended up top lane, and Onic Esports do the surprise play once again. Drian in a perfect spot to really catch Keyd off guard, and Keyd did not expect that at all. That machine gun coming out from Drian dealing so much damage just now, almost with the Blade of Despair on a mid lane roll, on the position for roll. That means that damage in the early stages of the game, around the 5-minute mark, the second turtle, that is going to be scary.
Here we're seeing the effects of the switch up. CW going at the top first. It was definitely a good idea, but now,
oh, they finally catched him. Onic Force comes on through. The Black Shoes is going to make sure that he manages to walk out of that entire fight. Boots needs to get Takashi. No, he doesn't find it. Takashi is in the back and now has full range and full damage to allow King to start jamming through the enemy lines here. A good play coming out from Keyd to punish Onic Esports.
This whole time, Drian was just pushing up top, and this is what I was saying earlier before that fight broke out. CW with the switch up bought time for Drian to just become a threat, a walking artillery, just a wrecking ball of a marksman. And early on, you add that up with the Bane, just having prime position, just having priority on almost any objective, and you have the situation right here. Bottom lane, this is one of the few times that Keyd can actually find something.
Yep, CW could be using the Black Shoes. He just gets the kill and just walks on out.
Style play of CW, I think he's not done. It's definitely Boots is here. But you can see the moves coming up, the footwork coming up from CW.
The movement, as some may say.
I was about to say that sometimes Onic Esports has this mood wherein instead of putting all the core damage per second or DPS role was given to CW, it's transferred sometimes to Drian, but CW just showed up the moves.
Yeah, I mean, these moves are going to be locked down quick. Oh, wait, Mikey finds the I'm offended, allowing Takeshi to get into the back line. Keyboy now in some trouble. Astroside does not connect, but he goes back to try and protect the rest of the team. CW is in trouble, but they've already taken out Mikey in as well as King. It's too late. Takeshi needs to resolve the situation fast. Prime is going to help him out, but Takeshi does a good amount of work to open things up for Luis. Luis wanting to go a little bit more, does not find Drian. He manages to flicker on out.
Oh, very good movements coming up from Keyd. Specifically, Mikey going for that pullback, and it was Sands that actually was caught off guard. I mean, Onic Esports, they were doing a great job trying to manage the overcommitment from Onic Esports. Makes them say goodbye to Sands just one time in there.
It's a mix of overcommitment and something that Keyd just saw first, but yo, what's up? What's surprising?
Look, that snipe coming up from Drian. Did you see him like maybe take out maybe 30% of the health?
Oh, well, I mean, that's not all, but they find Boots initially with the I'm offended, but he does use it. Dakota's welcome. He finds it. He collides into the deadly catch. This might be the play that breaks the camel's back as Drian finds another immense kill. That's 3. Double. Give it to them. It's going to Onic Esports. What a Nibiru's passion coming out of Drian, and what a setup from Boots.
Beautiful ML. That's what we call in the Philippines. Beautiful execution coming out from Onic Esports for the longest time. I mean, Boots, that I think was the first Daytona's Welcome that was able to complete, right? But that was a very flashy one. Instead of pulling the hero back to his teammates, he actually went forward, flickered forward, so that he's gonna be able to chain it with the deadly catch. And then Onic Esports just destroyed the competition with the ultimate of Drian. My goodness, beautiful ML.
I love it. I love it so far. The plays have been really, really good from Onic Esports. They don't always work out, but when it does, now the oppression is getting pushed on as Takeshi is forced backwards. He doesn't have anybody to really initiate for them, or they're too low to make it happen. Most importantly, they always play for their gold laner, it seems, for MPL Brazil, because you can see that Luis, if without him, Onic, they don't want to contest Onic too much. They have the initiation, and yes, they have the damage, but even King can understand without Luis and without him going forward, it just ain't worth the time.
At this point in the game, 9 minutes, it's going to be between Luis and Tekash finding the perfect window. It's Luis right now who's easier to get that. We haven't seen him actually burn a flicker in quite a while. It's still up, but here's a pull in by Mikey.
They've already set this up. Drian, he's making sure he is making Bennett as useful as possible. Nibiru is whipped out here. CW is trying to zone them off. He knows he's got the black shoes, so he's very confident as Mikey taking the brunt of that damage. Nibiru's passion gonna chomp him down at the edge. Pixel frame perfect as Drian whips back the sniper rifle and continues the pressure.
In the efforts for Keyd to find this perfect window, it's Mikey and the Prime who's actually suffering the most. It's because it's these two, the mid duo that has to set it up. If they can't, then King can't even clean up house, but look!
They find it, they find the initial setup. The demonic force is already coming out, but CW is drawing a line in the sand. Takeshi goes down! A killing spree for CW, who flickers on out of the way as they continue to pressure mid-side. Mikey, he walks up forward, they take control of the orange side. They don't break open mid-tier 2. However, look at the difference in terms of structural gains.
Yeah, like looking at Drian, I think he really missed this hero. I mean, for the first half of MPL Season 8, he's playing at that in the position 4 role, and it was, you know, it was banned out, it was automatically banned because of some bugs, and now, in M3, they're really flexing this Matrix. I mean, he's using almost all of the important weapon of choice in the right moments.
I mean, you can only have two
Look at that.
at a time. Oh my goodness, that was 2K.
2K!
That was half of Luis's HP.
2K!
In one shot.
Out of nowhere!
Oh, that's not fun. That really does feel a little impressive, but now they're going to be contesting for the Lord. It looks like a storm is brewing here as Keyd looking for options. King looking for the backside, but Sans already sees him for it. Drops down the deadly catch and almost one-shots him with the ROM. CW as well. Drain taking good amount of damage for Takeshi, but Black Shoe is going to be top back up to full. Key Boys healing as well as achieving the favor more than enough, and Sans wins the 1v1.
Misplaced.
Jungler diff.
Yep, that's King getting cornered and didn't even need the rest of Onic Esports. I'm feeling for Tekash though. Tekash here, he's built his Clock of Destiny. He already has the Ice Queen wand, building up into an Oracle if I'm not mistaken. And these fights, he's not even ready to take these, but they get picked off.
They find the pickoff indeed, but now Mikey is just trapped. He's gonna get hit by the Daytona's welcome here, even breaking his immortality. Nibiru's passion to finish him off real quick. I mean, Keyd, they wanted to get the revenge. They heard the jungle diff and they're like, no, we'll show you, we'll punish you for this.
Yep, it definitely did show up. Oh, look at that. Well, he proves it again.
Yep, they're just trading 1 for 1 each and every time, but now Drian, he's allowing Boots to get hurt here, but here comes Takeshi. It's now Demonic Force again. He cannot proc it a second time, gets it onto Drian. Somebody needs to make it happen, and it's gonna be King with a KO strike to knock him to his feet. BK finally on top of the Lord.
And look at this. This is perfect. 12 minutes in. They are going to take the enhanced Lord. So lava skill.
No, they can't
just
steal
as
it, right?
soon as King, just as soon as we said that it's a jungler diff, King eventually he gets angry. What are you talking about? And then he gets a 2K. Eventually gets the Lord for the team. My God, they're awake.
Yeah, exactly. That's the thing about Keyd. You hear they make that one initial mistake, and then they determine they don't need to say a word. They don't even need to speak the language. They speak the language of Mobile Legends, and they're like, nah, that was a one-time thing. Let's show you how we really play.
They picked up. I mean, it's non-verbal. It's Onic Esports opening up, and they got messy. They got messy back to back to back. They thought they could trade 1 for 1, and now it equated to some farm on Tekash, some farm on Luis, and Mikey understanding now how Onic approaches team fights.
Yeah, it's really identifying these problems and making sure you have a solution to them. Luminous Lord going to be breaking open that tier 2. You can see that Keyd is trying to corner them, opening it up, or trying to open up the map as much as they can. Have that space, but that mid-tier 1 is starting to become a bit of a problem here. Takeshi taking the crab cannon damage. His Boots is going to be clearing up that wave. That is going to be end of that Lord power play from Keyd.
I can see that this is the time where K wants to group up. In the Philippines, when Blacklist International uses the Estes, we have this Ube time where around the 7-minute mark, they will group up and just take objectives one after the other. It's quite late here for Keyd, but it doesn't matter. They're still as strong. They now have the items. They now have the firepower. They have the sustainability as well. Maybe they want to just steamroll over Onic Esports now, especially because there is just one Barrett, which doesn't have enough stacks actually in his big guy passive, and now you can feel the strength of Cage's lineup.
Absolutely, look at that. Oh wait, hold on, they find a two-man. I'm offended, allowing Takeshi to get into the middle of the line, hops over the deadly catch, but that's just not enough. Keyboy's healing with the help of that favor is just more than enough, and now they're gonna start pushing back against Keyd.
Wolf mentioned the Uber strat from the Philippines. This is looking like Indonesia's own take. To be able to get back into the lead, now currently 2,000, they just stuck together. They stuck together, made sure that the Lord that Keyd got did not equate to much, and now they're back to just take in these resources, threatening King's Orange even. And look at this, Drian is just all the more confident. He's going to be alone, and Keyd would respect that. They would know that Keyboy or even Boots would be just around the corner.
No roamers, especially when their heroes are initiators or setters in nature. They always fall to the trap where if they see a bunch of heroes from the opponents, it's very tempting to go for that initiation, for that AoE initiation, right? And that's the I'm offended from Mikey. Although it landed so well, it looked good on paper, the highlight reel is there. It wasn't the right decision for Cage's. Onic Esports was far too ready. Yes, they did land the I'm offended onto 3 heroes, and that allowed for Tekashi to start the fight, but the rest of Cage weren't ready for that initiation, and that rendered Tekashi in a spot where Onic Esports easily took him down, even under the turret. Nobody will survive against 5+1.
I think the most frustrating thing of all when you're dealing with this Onic Esports lineup is the fact that the deadly catch, they can hold on to it. That's like their nuclear warhead. They're holding democratic power here and letting the rest of the nations know, you do something, you try to make it a single attempt, we're dropping the deadly catch. You have to respect it. And unfortunately for Takeshi, he wants to go for these bigger fights, but if his team cannot follow up, it's not going to matter. But Onic Esports now starting to disrespect the borderlines here as they walk up in towards purple buff side, giving it over towards Onic.
Actually, it's Tekashi who secured it.
Wow, the Astra's eye didn't know.
Exactly. That's crazy.
I think you can chalk that up to his arsenal, which is maybe 1/3 defensive, 2/3 magic damage.
Yeah.
So they kind of want to make these demonic forces count. And I think the word you were looking for, Gideon, is a deterrent. It's not even an engage tool. It's something that, okay, yeah, Mikey might get a nice 2 or 3 man, I'm offended, but the answer is always going to be the DC, the deadly catch.
That's exactly the word I was looking for here. But now the most important thing for either one of these teams is to close out the game. It's 16 minutes, and now the Lord is under Onic Esports' control. They've got the entire side completely covered here, and Boots, he's walking up to Mikey trying to look for options. Mikey, can he find it? He finds Keyboy here, but it doesn't matter. Daytona's Welcome is going to be locking down on towards Mikey for now, but they can't get into the middle of the fight. King, he wants to go into Kashi, has to force the situation onto CW, who already used the black shoes early on. Onic may have the Lord, but Keyd have the fight, and now they have to make this work. Onic needs to figure out how to work 4v5.
Yeah, I think they're going to lose the Lord this time, unless, of course, they will try to fight. But Mikey, as well as Prime, they're kind of ready with this. King as well is catching up.
Oh, they find it. It's going to be Boots. Deadly catch is already out. This might be a great opportunity, but Drian, he's coming back in towards this side. It's like, okay, yes, Onic Esports did have a Lord, but we can wait it out.
Oh, just a little bit off. Just to cancel the teleport. Unfortunately for Cage, they initiated under the turret, and Onic Esports really obliged that the turret that you were talking about, that counter initiation, courtesy of the deadly catch, really stopped that aggression from Cage. It still is pretty even game at this point.
It's true. They really need to breathe here. They really need to find some kind of footing against Onic Esports, and I think there's only a few situations where they can actually take advantage of neutral objectives, if I'm correct here, Leo?
Yeah, it's exactly what Onic Esports did earlier to Cade's first Lord. So taking that fight underneath the turret was exactly what Keyd needed to do. And right now we're back to square one, but Mike is in trouble.
Yep, he's going to be losing his immortality here. His team cannot bail him out of this situation. And that's going to be one of their biggest engage tools. gone down
that's-
into the gutter.
A massive opening for Onic Esports because it also means that the Phobies will not be as effective. The lack of Ruby means this ultimate is going to be much harder to execute.
Well, let's pray that King is going to be able to find multiple as the deadly catch comes on through. CW abusing the fact that with his deadly shoes, he initiates into that fight, trying to get an inhibitor somewhere across. Jian continues to punish that mid inhibitor
God,
once
Jian.
again, and yep, he finds it once again. Bennett, absolutely effective weapon at destroying these turrets from afar. They have taken all inhibitor turrets away from Keyd, and now Keyd will have to play at a significant wave disadvantage.
In a snap, they are able to clear out all of the inhibitors for Cage, and this is off of just the kill onto Mikey, an immortality kill at that as well, which means that that's about 2,000 gold for Mikey that's thrown down the drain, especially now heading into 20 minutes where 80 seconds in, we're going to see the Lord. Onic Esports' wave will always press against Cage. It means that Onic Esports will have a better time controlling this Lord area should they feel the need to wait for that.
Thanks to the Demolition Man, aka the Las Kage, Drian with his Renner, taking down all the inhibitors. As Wolf mentioned, this is permanent damage to Keyd's economy and wave management. There's so much that they have to commit to try and not let minions from Onyx's side take down their base. And what does that mean for their whole strategy? Again, we've seen throughout this 20-minute bout that Keyd wants and needs so many parts and elements of their lineup to work out to win team fights, and now that they have to send 1 or 2 people back to the base every now and then to clear, it's going to be all the more difficult.
It's about that timing, and yeah, you're absolutely right. Earlier I was mentioning about Bennett, but yes, you're right, it was Renner actually giving him that extra bit of rage. So far, we haven't seen Drian actually whip out Bennett just yet, and I don't think he needs to at all. He's got more than enough damage, and more importantly, he's got the extra item coming in from Keyboy, so he's going to be doing even more physical damage with Renner alone.
And that's percent-based damage, by the way. That's 10% a late game. That's why I think Florian is very strong in the late game. You have that healing. You saw that fight where Cage was able to deal the damage, but Onic Esports just stopped up, just plainly because of that ultimate from the Florian. And this is one of the few times where I completely agree with our man, the Fel.
Yeah, it's, oh boy. I mean, Florian is really enabling this Beatrix, who used to be like, yeah, she doesn't really scale that hard towards the later stages of the game, but now with the extra 10% worth of damage, holy.
It's this same point that makes Beatrix such a beast, even in a lineup like this, wherein she's the actual last stand. She's the last bit of damage that you need over the Lilia and the Bane, because she doesn't need her kit. Her ult is a one-time, big-time thing, yes, but her basics, as we mentioned, just hits like a truck.
They really do, but you can see that Onic, they understand that if they sit on top of this load, they might be in a little bit of trouble, right? And yes, they have the deterrent sense, but if it's baited out too early, Keyd has an opportunity to get on top of them so far, and that's where you see the juggling and fluctuation starts to happen. Oh wait, Deadly Catch actually already being used. Sans might be in some trouble as King is going to chase him around the clock, and Keyboy finally going to top Sans off.
Would have been a perfect catch for Cage. But now without the deadly catch, are they feeling confident this time? I'm not sure if this is the right decision for Cage.
I don't think so either, but you're already seeing Boots. He finds it again! The combo of the Daytona's welcome into Nibiru's Bastion is going to end that quick, but they've gathered all together. CW finds his initial kill, but Takeshi coming in hard with his damage. They stole the Lord. Louise has pulled through, but they cannot survive longer than this as Onic Esports have no more ults, no way to push back the fights. There you have it. It's going to be Keyd, and Louise gets his double killed. The base is wide open, but Ruby is going back to go and get a Keyboy, and as well as CW finally get back, but this Luminous Lord is huge, so big for Keyd.
Let me just say, this is Keyd getting so much out of this trade. Takashi, worth it to take down 3+ damage on a majority. 4 members now down from Onic.
Oh my goodness, somebody's died.
Oh
You have it! Here you have it! Your Brazilian representative.